got dreams and you know they matter. Be your own boss, climb your own ladder. That moment's getting closer by the day. And you're in the same boat with a lot of your friends, launching ideas you all believe in. The tide's gonna turn and it's all gonna roll your way.
Well, hello, everybody. It's Be My Own Boss podcast with Mike Ruby and our host, my guest today, Steve Johnson from Rideshare Rodeo. Hello, Steve.
What's up, Mike?
We're all kinds of news to share today.
Yeah, I don't know why we're both smiling though, and it's not fun news. But you guys should stick around.
Well, we have a good time here, so we're not fighting each other, but we're fighting the stuff outside. So it's always nice to be with your buddies, and thanks. Call out to Traveler who put up with me. We're working. The backstory here is that we're working on a transition for both of us to use the OBS, the Open Broadcast Software, which is a great platform. And I understand that some of you have been trying to get Steve to adopt it, and I'm now in your camp. He's not resisting. He's just driving a lot. So anyway, Steve, welcome. And with any luck, gang, this will be the last duck program that we sponsor, and we're going to switch over to OBS. But same guys, same challenges. And our title today is for breaking news from Friday, but it's still the aftershocks are rolling around the country. Is the PRO Act in play again? So hard to believe it was dead and buried. And then on Friday night at 5:00 sharp, Donald Trump, who is supposed, I think this is the one that's going to be president, says, "Oh, I'm nominating a woman that has no idea about labor, and she's a PRO Act sponsor, and Sean O'Brien, my good buddy from the Teamsters who have been funding my resistance and your resistance, I'm going to nominate her, and I'm going away for the weekend." So, well, it's been quite a couple days since that happened, and we're here to tell you about it. Steve said, "Well, do we sound like we're at the end of the world?" And it's true.
And I also said that honestly, they could have just thrown a dart and hit anybody random, and they could have done a better job than who they put in.
Well, somebody said they could have just continued with Julie Sue. We all know how to punch.
She's not even in there, though.
No,
she's not even legal.
They could renominate her and take their luck with a new Senate, which is just like the old Senate, but maybe worse. Anyway, we can talk about politics. We can talk about independent contracting. And that's why we're here. But I guess we got 2 weeks off. We didn't have to worry. And now that it's time to get back to business, making ourselves heard. But neither one of us is pessimistic.
No, never. Do you see Bud Soda's comment here?
He said that's weird because he's been pro-independent. Well, sort of. It's been quiet, though. He hasn't said much about independent contracting. We're talking about Trump. Case you're wondering,
right? But freelancers, self-employed.
Yeah, but
maybe he doesn't need to get to the root of independent contractor. But
if I were in his situation and had done this, and you guys all asked what's going on, I would have said, well, actually, we're going to get rid of the Department of Labor, so it doesn't matter for 3 weeks who is going to be the Secretary of Labor, and we'll just give Sean O'Brien a bone and. So, let him nominate who the person we're going to cut out along with 27,000 other labor union grifters.
So that was, I told you I had a few things I might bring up if the timing was right today that I had been thinking about this. Okay. And that was one of them was that, is this just going to become another cut department? And he's like, because he's trying to push through what the other side considers strange people to be taking on positions, but it follows what he's always said. But so, but is it just to like, okay, look, here's who you'd even want? Because like you said, it doesn't matter. We're gonna get rid of that department. Like, is he just trying to throw in it? Like this is a total, like he knows this is the wrong person kind of thing.
You have to say, well, you don't know. Trump.
Well, of course not.
Remember, Trump's been elected 3 times to the presidency. And like that took a lot of work, and he's pretty smart, he's not a dumb guy.
But he's not going to be pro-union, eliminate
Well, you wouldn't think so.
Self-employed.
You wouldn't think so if you read any of his voting, the after whatever the after polling, the exit polling for the from the election. It's a lot of Democrats crossed over and voted for Trump because they're tired of what's being done to them, especially women and anyone else who really wants to be an independent contractor. You're an independent contractor. I am. A lot of our audience is.
Yeah. And maybe also the fact that that the left didn't get the endorsements they normally do from the big unions. Correct. Is he kind of trying to appease them a little bit too? Like, okay, I feel you.
Well, let's see. One of the strategies you have to go. There's somebody running all this with Trump, and maybe it's his chief of staff nominee. Maybe it's someone like Bannon, right? I don't know who, but it's been pretty clever. The first ones were absolutely blockbusters right out. They're just clearly people are on Trump's side. You got Elon and Vivek in there cutting the government. Now you don't know where he's putting this. Are these nominees important? I mean, he put up Matt Gaetz. And then, bingo, Matt Gaetz is gone all of a sudden, leaving him another spot and leaving still a lot of opportunity and a lot of public support for Gaetz as an individual nominee. So that's basically coin in both of their pockets, and it cost them about 2 days worth of yelling and screaming. So they made points on that. Now, if he's following the same model with Pam Bondi, who seems to be a talented lawyer, but she's anti-gun. Okay, so she's not going far as a nominee for a Republican president. That just isn't going to happen. So does that mean there's a number two that comes in? Or is this something where he does this for a couple of weeks, scores points, honors people? If he nominated you for 2 days and someone said, it doesn't know anything about, defense, pick whatever your topic is, but you get to be famous for several hours, which is better than 15 minutes. And you invited on to talk shows for 10 years now that you've been nominated for the Defense Department. So it's hard to tell. It depends on how you look at it. It's like a gem rock. You got to hold it up and look at it from a lot of different perspectives. Did Sean O'Brien make a mistake? Did he actually want to throw somebody at Trump and threw the wrong one because he didn't do his homework on that this woman has a husband who's does medical specialty 1099 assignments and makes money on them, just like rideshare, with Uber, except this is certified registered nurse anesthesiologists, anesthetists. Okay, CRNA. So it's a cool job. I mean, I'm glad they're doing it. I'm astounded she'd even let anybody say Department of Labor secretary in her presence. No, don't get me involved in that. It's a very nice business.
Yeah.
So, I'd love to know what people think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also wondering, we all know the last time he didn't have a problem. He didn't have any problem at all letting people go. You're going.
The problem is,
and now there's like you were mentioning. Now there's the Elon and the Vivek thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're going to be already looking into things. So like, what if he is like, fine, look, go ahead, and then she even says, well, what about the product? He's like, you're fired. Like,
well, you worry when people like that are even on the same program with you.
Yeah, no, I'm actually just like you. I'm kind of shocked and stunned.
I am. I'm astounded. Yes.
Like this would have been the Vegas long shot if you were betting. For me, if you gave me a list of 15 names, she would have been the dark horse. The 45-1 shot.
Let's ask someone who's not in the audience today, but might be. You never know. I wonder what Lorena Gonzalez would say in California. She was the one that pumped the PRO Act, lied about how great it was in Massachusetts, got it in there with hardly a vote, hardly a debate, and then had to, roller skate backwards, and they exempted 100 occupations that were paying them a lot of money. So she's money ahead. But in doing so, the entire assembly just bubbled up with antagonism that she dragged them through this stuff with constituents getting upset that they were losing their jobs. Such a surprise. So what would Lorena, what if Lorena had gotten this? Maybe was she thinking about it? Did she talk to them? How could she not? She's a Teamster lawyer.
I would have shaved my head like all those people who are doing it right now. I just shaved my head and I'd have moved to Canada.
But Soda says,
sorry, those of you who really are doing
Stefanik, his pick for ambassador would be an amazing pick for labor. Yes. Now here's an example. I mean, he could have literally made the United States ring if he'd put Stefanik in there as labor secretary. I mean, who knows if she wants to be the ambassador to, what is it, the UN?
Yeah, and who was his last one too? I feel like that was just.
Is there some sort of plan, like second chapter with all this stuff where they cut a bunch of jobs out and put them in with the people that shouldn't have been there in the first place, and now where everybody's happy?
I mean, like he appointed somebody already to NATO, but he's going to cut all of NATO. I'm just saying, like he's appointing people, but how long? For how long? I don't know how long they're going to be there.
Well, you gotta. He could run. I mean, you can run when you're 95. I'm not sure you're very fast, but he could run for 2 consecutive terms. I think
he won't.
I know he won't.
Yeah,
but
he won't.
I just.
You remember the movie that I told you about, and you and your wife ended up watching it, Dave?
Yeah.
For those of you that haven't seen Dave, go watch it. It's an older movie, but it is worth watching. It's comical and it's
excellent.
It gets you thinking though, too, because
it's 80s type fun where nobody dies, it's not
yeah.
And it's actually a good plot.
But potentially at the end of this term, they could do that and put Vance in.
I was telling you about that, and you said no, they'll never do it. I think
maybe
he could put him in now. We'd have what? We could if on the 21st Trump resigns and Vance is, think about it. Be a strategist. That Vance would be president for 3 years. He could choose like Alex Jones for his vice president. Everybody I'm not going to, nobody's going to touch Vance if Alex Jones is coming next. If you're on the other side, the deep state, my God, don't do that. So, and then he runs as a 3-year, 4-year president doing all these fantastic things. And Elon's cut that taxes in the government have been cut by 75%. Everybody's rolling in cash. And we have a Defense Department that really can fight. And all the independent contractors like us are going to town. We've tripled our income. Like that's feasible.
I mean, even if you haven't seen the movie, Dave, what happens in a nutshell, the president is Kevin Kline, the actor. And so he's I don't know, he's running everything wrong or supposedly to the movie. You'll have to make sense of it. But then he has a heart attack and they don't want to announce that he's had the heart attack. So they go find this lookalike comedian and they bring him in, and it's still Kevin Kline, obviously. And he comes in, but he's actually the opposite of him. And he's just supposed to wave and do nothing, but he starts doing a lot. So my thing is, with all the things going on in Europe, maybe Trump clones himself and leaves a clone in there.
It sounds like it might take a while. They have clones of Biden, everybody says.
The big guy who walks.
Even Biden doesn't look like Biden anymore, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have to work protecting ourselves. And if this says anything to independent contractors, is we guys got to stand up for who we are and push back. And we're going to have to push back for a long time. It's not expensive. It's not time consuming. It's just urgent. Yep. So, because they're not, somebody and it's not just Trump. Somebody didn't take us seriously. They might not even have known about it because everybody in Washington seems to be a W-2.
But
Maybe
do you
that's-
just think that's because, and I don't mean that this isn't the problem, the size that it is, but do you think that's because there are so many other problems that are so huge right now? Like 3 wars going on in the world.
Yeah, but what do you,
I mean, do you think that people's sights were just off? Like, dude, I understand, and I'm probably aligned with you on that, but I got to focus on this.
No, I don't, because we've all been in the wilderness for 4 years with Biden as president, and we've all listened to all the issues. We know about the horrible social policies that they're imposing on all of government. We know about the electoral problem. We know about the spending problem. We know about Ukraine. We know about what they've done to the military. We know about what they've done to fuel. This is the fuel richest country. Massachusetts, believe it or not, is a huge energy source. We have methane hydrate in our ocean water, and it's a fabulous fuel, and we have tons of it because it's really cold water up here. It's not like those Gulf guys that rely on oil that's in the rocks. It's in the water here. So you get clearer seawater, and you get this fabulous amount of methane, which is NH4. It's really, I think it is, or is that ammonia? Well, anyway, I'm not a chemist, thank God, but because I love them, they're great. Methane hydrate. So we're an energy state if people would just wake up in the energy regulatory world and let her rip, and we wouldn't be paying, $6 in California for a gallon of gas.
Yeah. I just, I guess I just wonder what happens when this person goes into control. And I really, I don't know if there is more news on it, but I'm wondering why, I mean, nobody knows, right? Why this person got picked.
But Soda's having himself a laugh riot thinking of Alex Jones as president. I gotta say I'm right there with you, Bud Soda. Oh boy. See, Bud Soda. So my voting decisions were half based on being pro self-employed or independent contractors. Mine was 100%. I'd have voted for a ham sandwich if it was pro self-employment. Truth. That's all I do is live this stuff. My wife says, "Yeah, we've got grandkids, Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that, and a lot of people I talk with elsewhere outside podcasting were the same way. They said they look at the card and it says Kamala Harris, PRO-ACT, and a complete doofus, and the other side is Trump, who hasn't quit working for the American people in 12 years. Wait, Trump for either running since 2008. What is that? 16. So it's been a long time. No, 2015.
2015.
My calendar's behind me.
9. Well, very soon here, 10.
Yeah. Anyway, so is the PRO-ACT? Let's go back to the headline question: is the PRO-ACT in play again? And my first answer, and maybe repeatedly, I think it is. I think it is for the Teamsters, which is, not going to change anything, because I think a lot of Teamsters might want to make more money independent contracting.
Yeah.
But I know that the Teamsters voted differently.
I mean, they wouldn't just outright call it the PRO-ACT again, though. They would they would make this whole BS package, or would they just go, no, this is the PRO-ACT?
Well, I don't know. These are kamikaze people, because they're going out of power. They're losing the presidency. They're losing the Senate. Unless they can keep the rhinos with them, and they're losing the House. And now they're going to lose regulatory agencies, not just the leaders of them.
Right.
If they take out education and do what Vivek and Elon are talking about, they're going to lose the universities. So they're lost media. Media is going to vanish. I heard the Wall Street Journal. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think that for one, I think they need to stop calling it legacy media. I think they just need to call it traditional media.
It's legless media right now.
Right, but saying the word legacy just doesn't belong with it anymore. It hasn't for years. So
it's probably sexier than old media.
Right, but it's all lies and BS for the most part. And even when it's not, you have to read through some to get to the meat of it. So
Right.
I mean, it's not legacy. I don't know. I think the word legacy is something amazing.
Oh.
I would say legacy equals amazing.
Oh, you mean
and so therefore it's not legacy.
Like an inheritance that's positive. Well, it's thoroughly negative. Anyway.
Right.
So there you go. So, I mean, I think their position is losing. So could they bring something like this back? If Trump actually goes ahead and lets her be nominated and accepted by a Senate that I am sure the rhinos and the Democrats will get together and pass her candidacy. It wouldn't surprise me a bit. And of course, she's going to do what Sean O'Brien tells her.
Really, you think she'd pass that easy?
You only need all the Democrats are going to be for her, right?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So now, what do you need? 3 or 4 Republicans with Murkowski, Collins, Mitchell. Mitchell will do it just to go against her. Then you've got it. I haven't. Arizona hasn't finished counting. No, one of the.
I just wonder if some Democrats are going to start going, wait a minute. I'm not sure everything I think is right.
No, I think there's a very good chance she could come in because it switches. Instead of being a Republican issue, it becomes a Democrat issue, and it changes its character in the Senate.
Yeah,
and and then the other thing brought up in the threads on X is she'd be in charge. Lori herself would be in charge of appointing subsecretaries, the deputy assistant for understudy for EEOC and, civil rights and handicap. There's a bunch of stuff, and all of that's under the Labor Department. And she'd do all of that. And she's not going to call Sean O'Brien and say, Sean, I'm getting a bunch of names from Vivek for who I'm going to appoint for the, sorry, you're not going to have any more Teamsters in here. That's not going to happen. She's like hiring a nuclear submarine from Russia, and appointing it to your defense. They're going to shoot all of American subs down.
Right. But clearly Vivek and Elon could just go, yeah, we don't need her.
Well, they're not even a cabinet. By the way, DC is sizing those 2 guys up too. They're gonna smear that.
Oh, I know that. They know that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going into this knowing that. I don't think they're going into a lost cause though. They're going in like, you know what? Like, yeah, we know this is going to happen, but guess what? I still think we're going to prevail, kind of thing. So,
but I think it. But what do other people think? Do they think? Do you gauge it that it's in play? Does that seem like what it sounds like?
I mean, I think anything's in play, to be honest. I feel like once Trump gets to focusing on that, though, and this isn't about him, I'm just saying the position we're in. When he gets to focusing on that, he's not going to like this. It's just the same as what you were saying about the military. That we're going to have all this taken apart. He's going to do the opposite. So if you suggest that, you're gone. He'll be like, idiot, you're against everything I'm for. Leave.
Trump has an extremely savvy multi-cushion pool shooter that is his advisor on labor policy, among other things. And I'm in touch with him from time to time. I can't imagine that he's not apoplectic and be just all his incoming emails from guys like me are saying, what the heck is going on with this woman? She couldn't be a dog catcher. She was the mayor of Happy Valley, Oregon for 4 years. Oregon. Tell me about the international labor problems of Happy Valley. it's suburban. So, and she's gonna be. She might as well just take a wire and broadcast the cabinet meetings back to headquarters at the Teamsters building. I just can't imagine it. I'm not against organized labor. I'm against monopoly, organized labor.
Right. Or forced.
Yeah, coerced. And that's what she's for. So we definitely haven't seen the last act of this play.
No, and I don't feel. I mean, I hear why. I understand, and I saw other people on Twitter worried about it as well. I understand why it's like, oh my gosh, and like, what the heck is this? But I just can't see that this is going to work.
Right.
Like as soon as she opens her mouth, she's gone.
Well, we, and I mean the online hordes on X, and I wish they were really hordes, but they're just really prolific resistors. We made life extremely difficult for Lorena Gonzalez, and we were helpful.
I'm even blocked by her.
Oh, well, good for you. Me too.
It's kind of a club on Twitter, guys. There's
right.
There's a handful of us that are blocked.
We pass it around. It's like the Purple Heart, Yeah.
No, it's like a medal. Yeah, it's like a Medal of Honor.
It's like a medal of horror. So, anyway, but we can, and we've made life really difficult for Julie Sue. Now, does she want to step into this? She ought to be asking herself. Her husband should be saying, "Dear, do you think you're going to enjoy having these people with basically an infinite barrel of ink and no goodwill for you because of what you've said, sort of you sponsored in passing?" And let me tell you that sponsoring a bill in Congress is not heavy lifting. The one that does the heavy lifting is the original sponsor. Everybody else is a co-sponsor, and they don't do anything. So they're ticks on a moose. They're along for the ride, and the sponsor does all the work. So,
but I feel like there's no way she stays. I mean, they can't even seat her. The people in power now, and now there's going to be more power to the people who don't want her in. And why would she even stay around at all?
Why'd she in it in the first place? Did she not think of her husband's business?
I don't know, because Marty Walsh took a job at the NHL and said, yo.
Oh, and Laurie's going to do that because she's such a whiz at negotiating. Let's see. She told the Oregon Teachers Union that sure, they can have their 14% raise or whatever it is. I'm just making this up.
Yeah.
But that's not one of those exasperating jobs.
I don't see why that's such, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see why that's such brain surgery. Like let's get rid of the Department of Education and give it to the states. Yeah, that sounds like amazing idea.
And but let's cut the payments by 80%.
That's what I mean, or by 100. Let the states run it, dude. Like, sorry, figure it out in the state you live in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not for.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think he's going to burn the Department of Education to the ground.
Well, I mean, about labor.
Maybe on a live stream. I don't even know. Like literally burn it, the building.
Well, the building has to go. All the buildings have to go. They can go gently, not dynamite.
You do it Vegas style, the implosions.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Well, all right. But I don't want
let people fly in, have rallies.
If drones are flying up above. Yeah, right. Okay. It's
Dude, how many Americans? I'd fly out to watch the Department of Labor blow up.
Actually, I just want to. I'm satisfied with the video.
I mean,
anyway, and then anyway, so there are some things we should be paying attention to instead of trying to discern the relationship between two people who already have an agreement. And we've had 500 years of experience with how to write these agreements. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so
the PRO Act, it isn't, there was the question. The answer is kind of yes, it is on the table again.
Damn thing walked in through the puppy door, and all of a sudden it's in the living room with your nice white furniture, and it's Muddy Claus, and it's
Yeah.
making everything filthy again, and you just cleaned the living room up.
But luckily, we got a taser.
Taser.
I was just saying that. Here's the answer to it, though. I feel like the question is yes, it is back on the table.
Well,
Potentially, even like we just said, even still just called the PRO Act. Here, what'd you change? Nothing. What?
no, I mean, it does have brand recognition. The problem is all the recognition is on the opposing side. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi would say, rename it, make it worse and rename it. It's like the butterflies and tulips bill. Like those are really nice. Let's do those.
Right. Rename it or Pelosi's failed legacy.
Right. Independent work for all. What does that mean? IFA. Independent work. IWFA. Independent work for all. Well. Anyway. Well, there it is, folks. It's in play because Trump and Sean O'Brien and some woman named Lori from West Central Oregon have put it in play. So how about that?
And it's also in play because of you guys not sending in your videos. So those who did, you're awesome. And Ron, you did too. But those who didn't, really, like, you're partially to blame for this.
I had a guy,
So,
a guy engaged.
This is it, by the way, guys. Scan this QR.
A guy engaged me on Twitter. On Twitter, that's the logo. It's on my website. I mean, it's on my Twitter account.
It's right here, guys.
There it is.
There it is.
Do it. A guy wandered in. He has a great story about a guy wants to do independent contracting. He was in California for a while. He has to work. He's older. He has to work to augment his income. He had to apply early to Social Security. I mean, the whole thing. So he's getting less. He needs it, and he can't do it. And that's like perfect. I mean, that is like. And I offered him. I said, "Tell me if you want to, record a short video." No, I'm going to pass on it. Wow.
Absolutely, you should. In fact, everybody should. If you did one prior to the election, which is everybody, make another one.
Go Gig It Now. Ron did.
Yeah, but not since the election. He made 2 before the election.
Oh, that's true.
So, Ron, we're going to need a third from you and a second from everybody else. And if you haven't even done one, just do it. What does it take again? 40 seconds, I think.
30
maybe.
30 to 60. That Ellen in Las Vegas did one, and she was like 37 seconds and got her point across completely.
Yeah.
And
everybody that did them.
Yeah, they're all great. We're ready to go.
Yeah. And if you guys are like, I've always said, if you don't do a lot of recording and stuff, just do one, record it. And if you're like, oh, that wasn't good at all, do another one. And then by the third one, I guarantee it'll just flow for you. You'll be like, oh, wait, I know what I did wrong those 2 times. I got this. And
if you want advice, send us the video. I'll take a look at it. Steve can take a look at it, and we'll offer 2 or 3 suggestions,
Right. But again, guys, just, hey, my name is Steve. I live in the Denver market or the Colorado market. If you don't want to use your specific city, I want to remain an independent contractor because, and then have at least one thing you can say. It could be just flexibility, but make it yours. Have 1 to 3 things, whatever you want to do in that time, but just that simple. And then when you're done, that's it. But as Mike always said, keep it positive.
Yep, we're in the same place we were, guys. If you will do this, we're going to win. We got 76 million people, and more are joining each year. They're joining the self-employed, part-time, full-time, sometime, or first time. Then there are union members entirely, and it is going to be the economy of the future. We're already approaching we'll pass the halfway mark during Trump's term.
Yes, no, Bud Soda. Yes, only keep it positive.
Yeah, positive.
No. And you don't need to talk about PRO Act, because then it almost seems that we filled you in a spot. Just talk from the heart, dude.
Bud Soda, we just want you to talk about why it's good for you. because that's the hard thing that they can't deny. They can't go, oh, it doesn't match up.
Right. No, that doesn't help him. Yeah, they don't know you, so they can't debate it. If you just be honest. For me, I can say that I'm a single dad. I need the flexibility, not just the flexibility part. I can add in that single dad. I can say that I work other, not other niches of a space. I work completely other spaces. I work gig apps and I work production shows. So I need to be able to integrate that kind of stuff. I can't do that if you take that away. There's anything that would apply to you, make it yours.
Right. I mean, you work for famous entertainers, and they're not going to Singapore all that often.
Right.
They're just not. So, and they got to know people. They need to have people who can set it up on time, because if the lights aren't ready on time, there is no show.
Right.
That's the same thing with everything we do. If the drivers aren't there ready to go, alive and alert and licensed and everything, they're not going to get to the airport or to the hospital or home safely. So we're really valuable, and the economy can't do without us, and they're going to be hurt as much as we are, but they don't feel it yet because they don't realize how important independent contracting is for our economy. It's a project economy now. The guys who organize work, Elon's a great example. They work differently now than they did 20, 30, 40 years ago, let alone World War II.
Yep.
It's a project economy. Anyway, Steve.
Yes.
It's been interesting, fascinating, great comments. Can illegal immigrants join unions? Go dig it. I suppose. I'm gonna say yes with Ron on that one. Oh, and not legally. I'm just gonna say yes because everything is legal that's illegal right now. Yeah, they've turned.
So I mean, yeah, of course they can, because anything that just put them in the unions. I mean, anything's legal right now if they want it to be.
Well, we're going to work out who can work among they're going to take a lot of them are going to go.
Yeah.
And it's going to become a much less of a problem. And if we can switch over to independent contracting, we can get more people coming in and doing work they like, and there's going to be more jobs that they're going to create. That who thought even 10 years ago that you could do anesthesiology away from a hospital and do it in a clinic anywhere in Oregon and have an anesthesiologist, an anesthetist working on your case just for one day every 2 weeks. That it's just amazing how much skill we can bring to bear on the real problems of Americans all over the place. That's going to last. We have to help it. You don't want to have to fight the unions for a bunch more. This is a time to make your hay. But as you can see, if somebody gets in there and in some authority and just either forgets about us or wants to ignore us, that'll happen. We just got to show some muscle, and I mean the polite muscle.
That's right, guys. So next Tuesday, be my own boss. Oh wait, no. Yes.
Yeah, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, December 3rd.
And with luck, we'll have an OBS platform.
Yes. But you guys, we are in triple overtime, and I got to go tend to my dog. He's starting to gnaw at his eye, so everybody pray for Bodie. So
we all wish you well, Steve. And what's the pup's name?
Bodie.
Bodie. All right, and good luck to Bodie too.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.
Well, you got dreams and you know they matter. Be your own boss, climb your own ladder. That moment's getting closer by the day. And you're in the same boat with a lot of your friends launching out.